What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Final Fantasy TCG set review. We are covering the light and dark cards this set, and as usual, this one's going to be short. There's not a lot. I think, with the exception of Xenos, and I could be wrong. I'm really like what these cards are doing now. So yeah, let's not waste any time. Shinriyu. If your opponent controls 3 or more forwards more than you, the cost required to cast Shinriyu is reduced by 3. So it's a good answer in case early aggression, right? If you have nothing, if you're still setting up. He has Brave, and when Shinriyu enters, you may search for one card and add it to your hand. Thornton or Charlotta, if you will, searches whatever you need. Forward, backup, monster, summon, and then Tidal Wave. S and 6 CP, break all the forwards your opponent controls. You can only use this ability during your turn. It would be really rude, and I think a little more worth it if it was on either player's turn, but what can we say? Has a sick full art. I think it's a strong card. I don't know how many we're gonna play, or if the deck is gonna actually run more than one. We also have the other Shinryu that's like an option for this. Effectively, it could search itself too, right? And so the to do the S, right? And so the concept there is, how are we able to manage that regularly in a good game? And I think in there lies the problem with these light or dark cards always. So I think it's a good card. We'll see where it fits in the meta. At the very least, everyone's playing one. The Tidal Wave is just something that we may not realistically get away with. Materia. Also, if we didn't know, I think it's cool that all the light and dark cards got full arts this set. Xenos is the box topper, and so this Materia is amazingly awesome. So one cost backup, you can play 2 or more light characters onto the field. When Materia enters the field, gain a crystal. For 1 CP and a crystal, reveal the top 4 cards of your deck. Add a forward among them to your hand and return the other cards to the bottom of your deck in any order. You can only use this ability once per turn. And then for 2 CP and tap, gain a crystal. So it's very interesting how much she can generate and how much value she brings. I think it's hard to say whether she's just as strong as this guy, what's his name, Spiritus, but they're both very good in their own regard. I think she'll see play. I think we're finally getting to that peak where crystals might actually be independently strong. We'll have to see, of course, as always. Glaciella's still a thing, so yeah, let's see if it's enough with Materia added onto the mix. Spiritus, one cost backup, dark. You can play 2 or more dark characters onto the field. When Spiritus enters the field, gain 1 crystal. At the end of each of your turns, if you have paid 2 or more crystals this turn, gain a crystal, which is nice. And then for a crystal tap, choose a forward. It gains 5,000 power until the end of the turn. So it has that nice refund mechanic. I'm actually curious about these. I wonder if you can play them while you already have a light or dark card on the field. I don't think so, right? Like, you'd have to play these first, and I think that's their downside. They don't read like Cosmos and Chaos, the original cards, like the Opus 1 cards, and so it kind of makes me worry a little bit how dead these cards could possibly be if we try to go into something that's a little more light or dark heavy. But needless to say, I think one-ofs in certain decks, these cards are gonna shine. It really depends what your deck is looking to do. On the other note, I'm kind of concerned that we have a little more backup hate now. We have things that break random, the characters, and then I know people were talking about that 1-drop Kate Sith last set, last meta, just to kind of meme on all the warrior like control decks and stuff to get rid of the Princess Era, and so this might fall victim to that stuff as well. But I think, again, independently, they're both strong, both very good for, I think Spiritus more than Materia for sealed and limited, and Shinryu is just a powerhouse in those formats as well. Lastly is we have Xenos. Like I said earlier, he's the box topper. You can cast Xenos from your break zone. When Xenos enters the field from the break zone, at the end of your turn, remove Xenos from the game. When Xenos enters the field, choose a forward of cost 3 or less, break it, And when it is put from the field into the break zone this turn, select one of the following 2 actions. Your opponent discards a card, or Xenos gains haste. So on the turn, you can bring him back. You can kill something, give him haste, and then attack. So he kind of like has that like it's recastable, if you will, right? Like that revive mechanic, if you will. And then he can also just, your opponent discards a card randomly. It's not the worst thing. Like for 4 CP, we've done a lot less, especially if you have other ways of giving him haste and stuff. Not to get too excited, obviously, but being able to bring him in, kill something, have your opponent discard, trigger. Like for example, let's say what's his name, Whis. And then maybe if you've been holding on to stupid Arc for a while, Arc is now 5. So I guess the Arc was 9 anyway, because you had to cast to bring Xenos back. But at least you get a little more, like a few more from the triggers and stuff. So just something to think about. Weird scenarios. I'm concerned he might be like the least impactful one, but I think he has some solid effects. I don't know when the last time we got a full art dark card as a box topper, but I think it's actually it was light card we got Noctis last time, the last one I can remember. So yeah, I think it's cool. Like I said, this one's short. I do think these 3 will see play: Shinriyu, Materia, and Spiritus. Xenos is probably the least likely in my opinion, but I love being wrong. So please, guys, if you disagree with me, or you think Xenos is actually a powerhouse, make sure to leave it in the comments. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on all of these cards. And again, if you haven't already, make sure to check out the rest of the set reviews. They should all be up by now. And yeah, happy deck building, guys. We have lots to talk about, so stay tuned for all of that as always, and enjoy. Take care.